I'm learning all the time about the using of AI resources to help students write better essays. I'll tell you right now, if I had to write an essay in Spanish or in Armenian or in Farsi or in Hebrew, I I don't know what I'd do. I know what I'd do. I'd get a tutor to help me, and I would methodically go through that step-by-step process. But I realize that it's a challenge. So I want to go over a little bit of how to use those resources appropriately. Let's take a look at Grammarly. What Grammarly does is ask you to place your content in the box, and then it makes suggestions for ways to correct that wordage. That's fine. That is not plagiarism. And I put in some content from an essay that I wrote called Prophets of Fear, and it found a really neat error. This is an absolute error. And panic-driven, add a hyphen. I think, those are good suggestions. Sometimes it will make suggestions in your writing that include, instead of saying therefore, the app will suggest the word hence. Well, 1865 called and they want their essay back. That's not you. My point in pointing out this experiment that I conducted with my own writing and seeing what Grammarly would do with my own writing is that it gives me pointers and ideas of how to best work with you. Here's the short and long of it. Have Grammarly check your spelling, your sentence structure, and so forth. I think that's just fine. Remember, Grammarly is not you. Your personality needs to show in this essay. If you use an article that's written by somebody and you cite that article in your essay, let's say you take a sentence from what they actually wrote and put that in your essay, that's just fine. Add a parenthesis and add that citation in the essay. There's a whole tutorial in here about how to cite sources in an essay. But the next sentence is important. The next sentence is where you write, in other words, and you put into context whatever that article said, and you put it into your own words. Grammarly can help you with that, but don't let Grammarly take you out of the essay. Your style, your voice, your approach, your bias, and there's a whole page in the course on bias, all of those are important to your paper. Grammarly does a really good job of catching those errors, just as it did in my own essay. The point is to make sure that your voice is the voice I see in the essay. If I see a place where it looks like Grammarly took over for you, and I'll mark in the essay inconsistencies. That doesn't mean plagiarism. It just means that you and I need to take a look at these sentences and figure out how to connect those sentences to your own style, your own personality, so that it doesn't look like the statements that are in first person, where you talk about the essay and why you're interested in this topic, where those sentences are so much different from the Grammarly corrected sentences that it doesn't give the essay a feel of authenticity. Now, there's a difference between a feel for authenticity and plagiarism. So plagiarism is where you go to an AI and you pay it to write a paper for you. That's plagiarism. Plagiarism is if somebody had another person, any other person, write the essay for them. That's plagiarism. Plagiarism is copying and pasting information from a website, from an article, and not giving credit to the author of that article. That's plagiarism. Using Grammarly to help correct the sentence structure, spelling, and so forth, there's nothing wrong with that. We just want to make sure we use it correctly. So that ends this tutorial on using AI appropriately.